The town of Gray Hill was dry, dusty, and slowly falling apart. No one visited anymore. The roads were cracked, and most shops had closed down. Only a few lights still burned at night. One of them was Alara's inn. She had inherited it after her father passed away. She worked hard every day, waking up before sunrise and going to bed after midnight. The morning after the silent cowboy left, Alara felt a strange emptiness in the inn. The small wooden horse he had left on the table caught her attention. It was simple, but beautifully carved. Alara turned it over in her hands and saw a small mark on the bottom, a symbol she didn't recognize. She wondered who the cowboy really was and why he had given her this gift. Curious, she asked the townspeople if anyone knew the mysterious man. But most said he was just another traveler passing through, like many others before him. Some even warned her not to get too close or expect anything from a stranger who didn't stay. Alara tried to forget him, but her mind kept returning to his quiet eyes and gentle smile. Days passed, but Alara couldn't shake the feeling that the cowboy's visit meant something more. She kept the wooden horse on the small table by the window, hoping one day she might understand why he left it behind. Then, one afternoon, a stranger arrived in town, a well-dressed man with sharp eyes. He asked questions about the inn and the cowboy. Alara's heart raced as she watched him carefully. Was this man connected to the silent cowboy? That evening, Alara sat alone in the inn, holding the wooden horse tightly. She noticed the symbol again and decided to visit the town library the next day. Maybe there she could find answers about the mark or the mysterious visitor. But deep inside, she also feared what she might discover. As the sun set over Gray Hill, Alara looked out the window, hoping the cowboy might return. Little did she know, her quiet life was about to change forever. Days passed, and Gray Hill remained as quiet as ever, but Alara's thoughts were restless. She kept going back to the wooden horse and the strange symbol carved beneath it. Determined to find answers, she made her way to the old town library the next morning. The building was dusty and smelled of forgotten stories, but it held the history of the land and its people. Alara searched through books about local legends, families, and symbols. Finally, she found a worn leather book that showed a mark very much like the one on the wooden horse. It was said to be the sign of a secret group of ranchers and settlers who once protected the valley from harm. This group was known for their kindness, courage, and the silent way they helped those in need. Alara's heart beat faster. Could the cowboy be connected to this group? Was his visit more than just a simple stay? She felt a spark of hope for the first time in a long while. That evening, as she closed the inn for the night, she heard the soft sound of hooves outside. Her breath caught. She rushed to the door and saw the cowboy standing there, his eyes calm but filled with purpose. He had returned, and this time, he was not alone. Behind him came a few riders, quiet and strong, just like him. They were dressed simply, but their presence was powerful. Alara felt a mixture of fear and excitement. Who were these strangers, and why had they come back to her town? The cowboy stepped forward and spoke softly. "We are here to help. Gray Hill is not forgotten anymore." Alara's world started to change. The silent stranger was not just passing through. He was bringing something new, hope, protection, and maybe even love. The valley was about to awaken from its long silence. The next days in Gray Hill felt different. The cowboy and his riders stayed near the inn, quietly fixing fences and cleaning the old well. The townspeople watched with surprise and growing hope. Some who had left started to return, curious about the new visitors. Alara found herself drawn to the cowboy more and more. He was still quiet, but his actions spoke loudly: kindness, strength, and care for the land. One afternoon, while helping him repair a broken gate, she finally found the courage to ask about the wooden horse and the symbol. He looked at her with soft eyes and said, "That mark means we protect what matters. Your father was part of our group. We are here to honor him and help you save this valley." Alara felt tears rise. She had felt alone for so long, but now she understood that she was not. The cowboy and his friends were her new family, her protectors. That evening, the sky turned orange with sunset as the cowboy and Alara sat by the fire outside the inn. He shared stories of the past, how their group worked in silence to keep peace and hope alive. But trouble was not far away. A wealthy landowner from a neighboring town heard about the visitors and wanted to take control of the valley. He sent his men to threaten Grey Hill. The peaceful days were ending. Alara and the cowboy knew they had to stand strong together, for the inn, the town, and the future of the valley. The silent cowboy was no longer just a stranger. He was her hope and her fight. As the days grew darker, the threat from the wealthy landowner became real. His men rode into Grey Hill, their faces cold and their words sharp. They wanted the valley, the land, the inn, and everything Alara's family had worked so hard to protect. They said the town was useless, a place forgotten by time, and it should be theirs. Alara stood tall, though her heart was heavy. The cowboy and his riders gathered the townspeople. They spoke quietly but firmly, promising to protect Grey Hill and its people. The valley was more than land. It was home, and they would fight to keep it safe. One night, under a sky full of stars, the cowboy rode out alone to meet the landowner's leader. No one knew what he said, but when he returned, his eyes were steely and determined. He told Alara that the fight would come soon, and that they needed to be ready. Alara spent long hours helping prepare the town, fixing fences and gathering supplies. The townspeople, once tired and hopeless, now worked with a new fire in their hearts. They believed in the silent cowboy and in the strength of their home. The day of the confrontation arrived. Dust rose in the air as the two sides faced each other. Words were exchanged, but soon the silence broke with the sound of hooves and voices raised in determination. The battle was not just for land. It was for the future, for hope, for Grey Hill itself. Through it all, Alara stayed strong. She saw the cowboy fight not with anger, but with courage and respect for the land he loved. The valley's fate hung in the balance, and every moment was filled with fear and hope. The battle for Grey Hill was fierce, but brief. The cowboy and his riders moved with quiet strength, protecting the town without causing needless harm. The landowner's men, surprised by the courage and unity of the townspeople, soon began to retreat. The valley was safe, for now. After the fight, the town felt alive again. People smiled, worked together, and believed in a future they had almost given up on. Alara looked at the cowboy, who stood quietly beside her, no longer just a stranger, but a part of her life. He handed her the small wooden horse once more and said softly, "This valley is yours. We came to protect it, but it's your heart that will save it." Alara's eyes filled with tears of gratitude and hope. She realized that the passing cowboy was more than just a visitor. He was the gift that changed everything. As the sun set behind the hills, Alara knew her life had forever changed. The silent stranger had brought her strength, love, and a new beginning. Grey Hill was no longer forgotten, and neither was she. The valley, the inn, and her heart were finally home.